Hello, everybody. So since I will not be at your school this week, September 23rd through the 29th, I am making this video to cover the extra credit and also your midterm essay, which is due the week of September 30th through October 6th. So I've just pulled up one of my dual enrollment classes, so this may not be your class, but they all look the same, so it doesn't really matter. So hopefully you have read Chapter 10 on taking essay exams and have maybe had some time to talk about the fact that the midterm essay is timed, you have 75 minutes, and so on. But before I get to that, I'm going to talk about a couple other things first. So you can see I'm under week 6 on the tab in Moodle. And the first thing I want to show you is the Common Read group flyer. So if you're interested, there is a Facebook group about Common Read, so about calling a wolf a wolf, that you can join. And it'll update you on information. It makes posts about Kaveh Akbar and so on. So if you're interested, that is there for you, but you do not have to join if you do not want to. The other thing I want to show you is the extra credit handout. Now, keep in mind that I basically never offer extra credit. So it would behoove you to take advantage of these opportunities. And so there are 3 options for extra credit. You can do one, you can do some, you can do all, or you can do none of them. All up to you. And all of these extra credit options revolve around the Common Read. So Calling a Wolf, our book of poetry. This is the only extra credit I will offer this semester. So if you come to me at the end of the semester and you say, how can I earn 10 extra points? I'm going to say you can't, because it will be impossible for me to offer an opportunity to the whole class at that point. So if you want to hedge your bets and earn some extra credit, this is how you do it. So since you are dual enrollment, this is sort of structured for my on-campus students, but I'll address that in a minute. So the first option is to attend one of the faculty lectures on Common Read in the Writing Center, October 15th and 16th. Different faculty throughout these 2 days will be giving lectures about calling a wolf a wolf. If you attend one of these, you can earn 25 points of extra credit just for attending. Option 2 is to attend at least part of the Common Read Day at the Student Union, and that's Monday, October 21st. I've got, when I have the information on what events occur at what time, I'll post them for you. And again, for attendance, you get 25 points. Now, I realize that some dual enrollment schools, you can't make it to the university to see these 2 things because you have class, you can't leave the school, what have you. So I have contacted the people who are in charge of Common Read and asked them whether or not they will have streaming video, or whether they will record these different lectures and Common Read Day events and make them available on video. So I have not heard back yet, but when I do, I will let you know. And if the answer is no, that they don't intend to do that, I myself can probably make it possible for you to have a video made available to you from the faculty lectures and from Common Read. So I can go with my own video camera and record it myself. So I will make sure that there is some way that you can view option 1 and option 2, whether it's through me making a video or through the university making a video. Okay. Option 3 has the most potential for the most points. And this is if you submit a student project for the first part of Common Read Day. So Common Read Day is broken up into different parts. And from 9:30 to 11, I believe, students present projects that are based on the reading. So your project could be anything from a student-led talk or some kind of presentation to an artistic project, anything along those lines, as long as it's related to the book. If you are at a school that cannot attend the Common Read, it is possible that if you were, for example, doing a presentation, that it could be video recorded and presented that way. You may work alone or as a group. However, if you wish to do this, you must discuss your idea with me. Please do so by email. And you must contact me by October 1st at the latest. So there are 2 ways to earn points. When you send me your idea and it's fully thought out, I will send it to the person in charge of that part of Common Read. If they do not accept your presentation, but you made a strong effort in putting a project together, each person in the group, or just you if you're by yourself, will get 25 bonus points. If your project is accepted and is presented at Common Read, each person in the group, or you by yourself, will earn 75 points. So if you do all 3 of these options, you have, excuse me, the potential to earn 125 bonus points. That's equivalent to the midterm. So that's an awful lot of points that are available to you. So I suggest you think it over. And if you are doing option 3, let me know what you want to do as soon as possible. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the rubric for the midterm. Okay, so the midterm is going to be the same type of essay as your second essay. So it is a timed midterm. Every midterm in 101, my 101 or anybody else's, is 75 minutes. You will write about the 3 poems that I've listed below from the book. When you are preparing, you should use the chapter on poetry, chapter 10 in Cross Currents. So I've given you the titles of the poems and the page numbers that they belong to. So when you take the midterm, you may have your copy of the book or printed copies of the individual poems. You may also bring any pre-writing or notes that you have made. So you should consider writing about topics that are listed on the rubric for paper number 2, such as themes, doing a comparison and contrast between the poems, and poetic forms. Remember, poetic forms are the structure of the poems. You do not need outside sources. All you need are these 3 poems, your pre-writing, and any notes that you made. I am not asking you to write a certain number of pages because you will be writing your paper in a text box in Moodle. So that eliminates my ability to tell how many pages you wrote. Instead, what I'm looking for is that you write a complete paper. So I want an introduction, a thesis, evidence that supports your thesis, and a conclusion. That's what I'm looking for. You should consider other important aspects of the paper, like your title, are you hooking in the reader, are you providing detail, etc. And your conclusion should not be a restatement of the introduction, but it should discuss whether the thesis is supported and apply your conclusion to other poems. Okay, so basically, I'm letting you know that you are not walking into the midterm blind. I am not going to ask you to write about something specific. Instead, I'm going to expect you to be prepared to write about something about these 3 poems. So you may prepare yourself as much as possible before you go into the midterm. So you can write yourself an outline, you can write yourself notes, you can have your printouts of the poems and you can mark them up, all of that, and that is fine. The only thing that I ask is that you do not use any electronic device other than what you're using to write your essay into Moodle. So I don't want cell phones out, that kind of thing. I've given you the PDFs of the actual poems in case you don't have copies of the book, or you would just prefer to have a printout available to you. So those are available right there where it says poems for the midterm essay. Okay, so what day you will take the midterm is dependent upon your teacher and what works best for your class, because what works well for one school doesn't work well for another school, right? So when it is time for you to take your midterm, you'll be in week 7, and you will click this link that says timed midterm essay. Once you do that, it's going to tell you you get 1 attempt. So that means that once you start, your 75 minutes begins. So you cannot start it, stop it, and restart it. And the quiz becomes available Monday the 30th in the morning and closes on Sunday the 6th at 10. So you have all that time to pick a time that works for your class to do the midterm. As far as I am concerned, on campus, the Thursday and Friday of this week 7 are our fall break. So if you are taking it during Thursday or Friday, I would probably need to know in advance because I would not otherwise be in my office or necessarily available by email. Okay, so that's pretty much the midterm. So I wanted to give you just a few words of advice on how to prepare for your midterm. Let's see, come on, there we go. Okay, so first of all, you want to bring the poems with notations. It's always best to make notes on your poems, so that's why I suggest using the PDF files, so that if there's something important that you want to remember in a particular poem, it's already written down. Bring any pre-writing with you. Bring any, other paper notes, because remember, no cell phones, no tablets. So any notes that you want to make for yourself, you need to bring them on paper. And your notes can be detailed if you so choose. Then once you start the midterm, you should take 2 to 3 minutes to write a brief outline. So even if you've taken notes and you've brought them with you, you should still take 2 to 3 minutes to organize your thoughts. What are you going to say in your intro? What's your thesis? What are the points of evidence that are important? And what do you want to say in your conclusion? It shouldn't be a super detailed outline, but you just want to take a minute, de-stress, calm down, and remind yourself of what you're going to say. Then you want to take the essay. And then after that, allow, at least 2 to 3 minutes to check for mistakes. So allow yourself 2 to 3 minutes to look for spelling errors, grammar errors. Did you write something but you said something that you didn't mean by mistake? You used the wrong words. Take the 2 to 3 minutes to look things over, make sure you've said what you meant, and fix any mistakes that you caused. And allow yourself the full 75 minutes. If you finish in 55 minutes, I mean, you don't get any extra points and you don't want a prize for finishing early. So give yourself the full time to really go through the paper and make sure you've said all that you want to say. If you've got an extra 20 minutes because you finished early, go back. Is there any more detail that you could add to really flesh out your paper? Are there any mistakes that you need to correct? Are there places where you didn't change to a new paragraph where maybe you should? Things like that. Really give yourself the full time, because if you have 75 minutes, you might as well take 75 minutes. Okay. So hopefully that helps you prepare. And then one last thing, and this is under week 6. Notice that in week 6, I've got the essays due dates staggered. The reason for this has to do with the end of the semester. So you have 4 regular essays throughout the semester, essays 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you've got a midterm, and then you've also got the final. So a total of 6 essays throughout the semester. I will prepare you for the final the same way that I've given you the information about the midterm. However, week 15, November 25th through December 1st, for us is Thanksgiving. And I know it's probably Thanksgiving for you too, right? So that means either I only give you a week to prepare, and that would be week 16, or I have to back it up another week to week 14 and work on prepping you for the final exam then. So some schools, because of their schedules, need to take the final exam in what I'm calling week 16. So because of that, I'm preparing you for the final exam the week before Thanksgiving. In order to give you enough time to be prepared for the final and have enough time to work on the last paper, which requires you to use outside sources, I have pushed papers 1 through 3 back a little bit so that you have time to do the 4th paper and to be prepared for the final exam. So that's why you see that these things are staggered like this. So again, I'm just warning you that this is coming up. So as you are preparing, you should be looking ahead in Moodle to see when things are due. And I highly recommend that you have a calendar or a day planner or something where you're keeping track of due dates. So that way you don't click on a week and you're like, wait a minute, 2 things are due. I wasn't expecting that. So make sure that you are aware of when things are coming up. Okay, so if you have any questions, please email me and have a good week.